Saint Gianna Berreta Molla. Gianna was born on the feast day of Saint Francis of Assisi, Wednesday, October 4, 1922. Her full name was Giovanna Francesca Berreta Molla. She was born in Milan, Italy, to Alberto and Maria Berreta, who were members of the Third Order of Saint Francis. Gianna was the 10th child out of 13 children. She was dedicated to the Basilica of St. Martin on October 11, 1922. Her family moved when she was 3 years old to Bergamo, Italy, because of her siblings getting sick caused by the unhealthy environment in Milan. When Gianna was 5 years old, her sister Amalia, whom she was very close to, prepared her for her first communion. They spent 6 months preparing. Gianna and her sister went to the church for a communion class, and after her communion class, the priest said that Gianna was ready for her first communion. On Saturday, April 24, 1928, Gianna was filled with joy about getting her first communion. Two years later, on June 8, 1930, 7-year-old Gianna received the sacrament of confirmation at the Cathedral of Bergamo. Gianna's sister Amalia, who had become very sick, died on January 22, 1937, because of respiratory disease. Then again, because of sickness, at age 15, Gianna's family moved to Quinto El Mar. When Gianna was in high school, she had become so involved in school and religion that her health was becoming bad, so she took a year off school because antibiotics were not widely available, simple illnesses could become serious. The year 1938 to 1939 was the year that she took off. During this time, she had become strong and healthy again. When Gianna was supposed to return to school, she wasn't able to return because Germany invaded Poland on Friday, September 1st, 1939, which was the official start of World War II. A month later, after bombing became frequent in Quinto El Mar, the Berretas moved back to Bergamo. After the bombing quieted down, Gianna returned to school in Quinto El Mar in 1941. Maria Berreta, Gianna's mother, suffered a heart attack and passed away on April 29, 1942. Gianna's father died just 4 months later, on September 10, 1942. After the death of her parents, Gianna and her siblings moved back to Magenta, Italy, where they had happy family memories. After moving back to Magenta, Gianna graduated high school. She made plans to go to medical school in Milan, the town where she was born. Gianna began her studies at the Facility for Medicine and Surgery of Milan in November 1942. When bombs began to fall in Milan in 1945, Gianna was transferred to the University of Pavia. In November 30, 1949, Gianna graduated from medical school and received her medical degree at age 27. In the summer of 1950, Gianna opened an office in Mestre, Italy. That year, Gianna met Pietro Molla, who was visiting a family member who was a patient of Gianna's. One day after Mass, there was a celebration for a new priest's first Mass. During the celebration, Gianna and Pietro met again, which started their relationship. On Easter Monday, April 11, 1955, Gianna and Pietro became engaged. Saturday, September 24, 1955, Gianna and Pietro got married. On Monday, November 1956, Gianna had her first child and named him Perliki. On Christmas 1957, they had their second child, and they named her Marinolia. On July 15, 1959, Gianna had their third child named Laura. Gianna always dreamed of having a big family, as she did growing up. When Gianna was pregnant with her fourth child, doctors found a tumor near where the baby was, but she chose to have it removed in a way that kept the baby safe. Gianna had surgery to have her baby on April 20, 1962, on Good Friday. Her fourth baby, whom they named Gianna, is currently living today. Gianna was stuck in the hospital for a high fever and a fast-moving infection. She was allowed to go home when she fell into a coma. Gianna sadly passed away at home at 8 a.m. on April 28, 1962. A family friend who happened to be a priest asked Pietro if he could write a pamphlet about Gianna's inspiring life. Pietro agreed as long as it would not become widespread. People began to talk more about Her Holiness. 8 years after Gianna's passing, Bishop Carl Colombo visited Pietro's parish. Afterwards, he asked Pietro if he could open a cause for Gianna's beatification. When more people learned about Gianna, they began asking her to pray for their needs. Gianna was beatified by Pope John Paul II on April 24, 1994. Pope John Paul II canonized Gianna as a saint on May 16, 2004. Gianna teaches us that every life is sacred.